Welcome everyone to this session. My name is Emmanuel and I'll be walking us through the entire process of mapping. So this will be a live demo where I will show us how to map and if possible, if you have probably a dual screen, you can map along. So yeah, let's jump right in. I will be sharing something now. I hope you can all see it. So this is more like just a simple image that I come in, please. Okay, let me just share my entire screen. So can you see my entire screen? Can you see my screen? Like I'm sharing a workflow kind of.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. So we are all volunteers willing to contribute to OSM. To this project, we want to map buildings. We want to contribute to energy project planning in Nigeria. And yeah, we are right here. Can you see my cursor? So
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So the concept is more like a volunteer GIS. So we are volunteering, contributing to open source. So the way we do that is by using some softwares, which is, an example is JOSM, the one Dennis told us about. So JOSM is a software that we can download and install on our computer. And then we have ID editor. This is web-based. Then we have Wrap ID. This is more like AI assisted mapping that makes mapping faster. When you want to draw buildings, the buildings is already drawn by itself. So you just click on it and select if it's in the right place or not. Then you kind of accept it if it is in the right place and you move on to the next building. So this was like a project by Facebook. So yeah, they are open source platforms. So you can, like, the support is massive. It's easy to use. And in a way, they all they make mapping faster. Kind of, you get to contribute to open source, and it's fun. So this is how we contribute to open source. We all, volunteers. We map on this platform, and we push to OSM. So this OSM is like the larger body that sits on WebGIS. That's another aspect of GIS. So it has some databases and some underlying web technologies that powers this OSM platform. So this can cause some form of error when volunteer A and volunteer B and volunteer C are probably mapping the same place at the same time. It can lead to some kind of topological error. That's what we call it in GIS, more like redundancy. So how then can we solve this? How can we make this thing coordinated? How can we track this kind of contribution? For example, you contribute to OSM. How do I know you have contributed to OSM? How do I track it? So that's why we have tasking manager. So this chart is just basically explain what tasking manager is doing. I know we have been hearing a lot of concepts, so I'm trying to use this chart to explain the whole thing to you, how they are connected. So the tasking manager is the platform, where we coordinate projects. For example, we want to map this, we want to map Imo State. So we went to, we go to tasking manager to create a project and, divide it into different tasks, like small squares, so we can coordinate the project and map it easier and faster. So normally as a volunteer, you pass through this stage, you go to JOSM directly, or ID editor, or Wrap ID, or Potlatch. There are a lot of tools that you can use to contribute to OSM. But now you go to you go through tasking manager first. You go to tasking manager to see the project you want to contribute to. Then from tasking manager, you go to JOSM or any software or any tool you want to use to make the contribution. Then from JOSM, you now push to OSM. So this makes the process cleaner. Instead of you just pushing to JOSM then to OSM directly, which can lead to error. Now you just go to Task Manager, pick a task. It can be a very small one that you want to map, you know. Then you come to JOSM. I'll show you the connection subsequently. Then you come to JOSM. Then when you're done in JOSM, then you push to OSM. So the process is very easy. It makes it well coordinated. So, and also in Task Manager, we get to have some mapping stage, validation stage, project managers, and all this thing leads to accurate data that are error-free. Here you push to JOSM before, then you push to OSM. No coordination. We can't even know if you made some mistakes or something. But with the Task Manager, everything gets managed. So as we'll be mapping now, when we are done mapping, it's going to be reviewed by a validator somewhere, part of us in the team, to check that, okay, you actually map and the project well. You understand? Before we now approve it and, push it to OSM finally. So if there's some mistakes in the mapping, just call your attention that, hey guy, or hey lady, you just mapped this place and there seems to be some form of error. So you can, correct it and then you push it again. Then it gets validated and yeah, we have accurate data on OSM. OSM is the volunteering platform, so anybody gets to contribute. So this process, we get to reduce and minimize errors because, we don't want to have data and have it in a bad format or bad shape. We need to have accurate data so we can, make almost accurate analysis and informed and well-informed decisions. So this is the whole entire idea, because I know we have been listening to a lot of, huge big terms, Task Manager, OpenStreetMap, JOSM, this and that. So I kind of use this chart to explain the process, how they get connected, and I hope you understand the whole idea. So let's start from Task Manager. Let me just so for this project, sorry, can you all still see my screen? Hello?
Yes, I can still see your screen, yes.
Yes, I can see. Yeah.
Great. So for this Mapathon, we'll be using Task Manager. Of course, we already know how Task Manager makes coordinating projects easier. So the mapping buildings from the interesting quiz we had earlier, I think they asked the question on what are we mapping. So we are mapping buildings basically. And yeah, it's right here, types of mapping, building. It's highlighted. If this is highlighted, that means we are mapping roads, but no, in this case, we're mapping buildings. So before you get here, you probably, let me just log out yeah. So this is the link you probably have with you. So when you click on this link, you get to, see this page. So the first thing you want to do is to log in your account. Everything is connected. And when you want to log into Task Manager, you have to, grant it access to your OpenStreetMap. You can see. So they are all connected. So you click on grant access. Then it's reload and you see your profile right here. So this is my OSM name, Jola Yamano. So yeah, you click on contribute. After you're done authorizing your account, click on contribute. Great. So right here we have the instructions which you have to read carefully. For this project, we already told you the whole instruction majorly. So, Dennis said we'll be using Maxa Premium Imagery. And, we want to draw building on OSM, we want to contribute to OSM. So we need to have like a layer where we can see the building before we attempt to draw it, or roads or point features or anything. So that's where these imageries come from. So they are satellite imageries that captures the whole Earth. We call them base maps actually. So, we overlay different features on them. And, we map on them as well because we can see different things. We can see buildings, we can see our roads. I will show you those ones shortly. But yeah, you read the instruction. It's very important. Then you make sure you read this. Task Manager makes it easier that you can contribute to some other projects. So You need to read the instruction before you actually contribute. So then the change set comments is right here. So this one allows us to track your changes. When you push a change, you get to track it. For example, to know who has mapped the highest mapper, who mapped the most building, or other kinds of features. So we use this to track the project. So it is important you have this in your project. I think by default it should be there. So contributions, this is where you get to see those who have contributed. Tasks, you get to see the tasks that are available for mapping, and those like everything. You can do some filter. I can search. Let's say I want to search for and I get to see everything she has worked on so far. By click on this, I get to see the comments he or she made. For buildings, it can still be checked just in case. This platform is just very, very sophisticated. So contributions. So I think that's basically all with this. Then
Emmanuel, sorry to interrupt you. I think somebody just dropped in the comment section that I'm lost. So Zainab Abdullah. So maybe you can like try to be sure where she's lost so we can pick that up.
okay, so hi Zainab. Sorry, where exactly are you lost? Should I start from the beginning, or can you please let me know the exact place you're lost?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, as you opened your tasking manager, sorry, the hot OSM or something, I opened mine too. I was following along. Now, where I had an issue was where they wrote that seventh mapping something. You've changed the seventh remote mapping buildings in Nigeria, IMO. I can't find that on my own, and I'm fully logged in.
Okay, so you can see this, right? Like you can see your name right here.
Yes, I can see my name.
Are you sure the project is 9890? The project you opened. Let me just
Eight,
copy this on the chat box. Um, yeah, that's the project code. So 9890 is the project code.
okay, I
So
should just click on the
just click
project
on it.
directly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think we can proceed. So yeah, when you get to the project page, you have to do the signing up, of course, so you can see your name and profile picture here if you have one there. So you click on contribute. Then it has two pages: the instruction page and the map view. So I think I already explained what these ones are. So imagery, any available source, but of course we have it here that we should use Maxa Premium if it is clear. Otherwise we use Bing. So Bing is also another imagery that we use in mapping. So right here we have the task. The task manager makes it so easy to organize projects. For example, if you let me see if I can let me minimize this. If you look closely, you can see we have some form of boundaries there. That person mute user breathe. Okay, thanks. So you can see we have a boundary here. I don't know, more like an administrative boundary of Nigeria, I think. Then we have projects, into smaller cubes, squares, boxes, so it can make so it can be easy for us to map and finish up faster. And the beauty of this task manager is that if a task is even too big for you, you can still split it further. You can see this is split into 4 from like this to. So it's very interesting. So you don't need to get yourself overwhelmed by mapping a very large area. You can just start from a very small place And if it's even too big for you, you can still split it further. So this color they have meaning, like they have what they represent. So when it's transparent like this, that means it is available for mapping. When it has this kind of color, means it is ready for validation. Like I said earlier, Task Manager makes it easy for us to, map, validate, and before using the data. So when you're done mapping, some people will still validate the project you just mapped or the task you just mapped. Then it's not changed to this color, which is finished green, like these ones. That means the buildings that are mapped here or roads or any layers here are well mapped and accurate. So the data can be used for anything they want to use it for. So unavailable means maybe the imagery is very bad, for example. So you can mark the task as bad imagery and to change to unavailable. Priority task, when probably the task you want to map, as we have many tasks now, we can mark some as priority. So we can just focus on those ones first before we start mapping other ones. So that's what this column means. Then locked. Another beauty of Task Manager is that you can lock a project, you can lock a task. So right here, someone is mapping this task, meaning I can map it. You can see right here it says map another task. If I hit this one that is available for mapping, to tell me to map the selected task. But when I hit this one, it's going to tell me to map another task. So this is to prevent duplication, redundancy error, and some form of errors in the project. Basically, one of the ideas behind the tasking manager, even from the name, tasking manager, so you can get to manage projects and tasks. So yeah, that's basically all with the tasking manager. Now let's move to JOSM. I'll still come back here actually to show how to actually map, but I want to show you the connection in JOSM before you can start mapping with JOSM, because they need to be connected together before you can map with it. So you can minimize it on your screen now and open JOSM. So just type JOSM and open it up. It should to come up on your So JOSM is Java Java OpenStreetMap editor. That means it's developed with Java for those that know how to code, and it's very interesting tool that allows makes mapping easier. Like I said earlier, we have some other mapping editors like the web-based ID editor, but it's always slow, particularly for our purpose. When you have a lot of buildings to map, drawing out, building is like a combination of 4 points or 4 nodes or 4 vertices. So to draw a building, if it's a squared building, you have to pick 4 points to get to capture the entire extent. So you do that manually in ID editor, and that takes a lot of time. But with JOSM and some amazing plugins that we can use, you can just get to draw a building and just with 2 vertices. Then the plugin will complete the rest for us. And not only would it complete the rest, it will also label it for us, to give it a tag. Building equals to yes, like Dennis mentioned. So yeah, I believe we are in JOSM already. Now let's connect JOSM to Task Manager. So to do that, we click on this icon right here. That's the, I think, 8 icon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just count the 8 icon from the left. Or if you can see my screen, you can see me hovering on 8. So just click on it. So when you're done clicking on it, you firstly need to sign in your OSM account. Like I said, they are all connected, so you need to sign in your OSM account. So you can get to connect it to JOSM and the task manager and OSM. So I'm using the latest version. So I don't know if yours is OSM server. Just click on OSM server right here so we can connect to OSM. So when you're done clicking on OSM server, you'll see this dialog. Click on new access token. So when you click on new access token, this is going to pop up. So this is where you input your OSM username. In my case, that's my name, Joya Manuel. Then your OSM password. Okay. Yeah. So when you're done doing that, you hit the authorize now button. So when you're done hitting the authorize now button, you have some code automatically generated for you here. So you should accept it. It's going to ask you if you want to accept it. So you should accept it. Then when you accept it, you're going to have some random numbers generated for you here. So that's the first step. So connect this to OSM. Then the next step is to allow remote control. So after you are done here, just click on remote control. That's the third icon, or the third on the side panel before the at the bottom, counter from the bottom. So that's the third, remote control. So you can see mine is already checked. So but yours will be like this actually. So just check this to enable remote control. So that's to enable this JOSM communicates with tasking manager. So that's the second step. Then the next step is the plugin we want to use to map. So you hit this plugin icon right here. It's gonna fetch you the available plugins available for JOSM. There are a lot of them actually. JOSM is very interesting. You can even exploit further. It can do a lot of stuff. So you hit the plugin, then you search for building tools. Yeah, right here. So you search for building tools and you check it. You ensure it is checked. So once it is checked, then you can just, you're done with everything, just hit OK. So you've done three things. You've signed in your OSM account. You have connected to Tasking Manager, that's by enable remote control, and you have checked the building tools plugin. So yeah, we are done with JOSM for now. Now let's go back to the Tasking Manager.
Emmanuel, sorry. Emmanuel.
Yes.
Please, before you move on,
Yeah,
so I asked in the chat that please can you take the step on how to connect to OSM server?
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so again, you hit this icon to open the preferences. This thing, this dialog box right here. You hit this to open it. So the first thing you do is hit OSM server to connect to OSM server. I have done my. If you haven't done yours, this would probably be blank or empty. So you hit on new access token. So when you're done doing that, you type in your OSM username. Mine is then your OSM password. Understand? So then you hit authorize now. So when you hit authorize now, it's going to ask you accept access token is going to be highlighted. From now I can't click on it or do anything with it. But once you hit the authorize now, this is going to be highlighted. So you can now click on this to accept it. So once you're done doing that, then you see the random ID generated for you. So that's the first thing. So when you're done enable remote control, so this is to communicate JOSM with the tasking manager. The thing is, JOSM is a tool that is contributing to OSM. So that's why we have to sign in on, sign in our OSM account. So any building you map or anything you map is going to be going to OSM. Now this remote control is to enable tasking manager access JOSM, such that when you want to map a task from the tasking manager, the task gets opened in JOSM. So when you're done mapping it in JOSM, it gets pushed to OSM. So mapping needs to be done faster because to save time. And that's why I'm using this plugin, this built-in tool. So that's actually the whole idea. This built-in tool is to help us map faster and more accurate. Yeah, more accurate. When you're drawing nodes, 4 vertices, you can make some mistake. The edges might not be at maybe a right angle. So with this tool, it solves all that. So that's the idea behind everything. So let me just go to the tasking manager. I hope we're on the same page. Is anyone having any form of challenges or anything
Okay, so I think that
before I
Emmanuel,
proceed?
Emmanuel, so I think that the people are still
Yeah,
stuck
I can
on
hear you.
people are stuck on that connecting their JOSM and OSM. So Farida said that our own doesn't have the new access token button, and then Sandra says that our own showed authorized now, and Subomi also asked
Yeah,
if we can go over the step of linking JOSM.
that's correct. Okay, like I said, this is the latest version of JOSM. Like this is the latest version I'm using. If you're not using the latest version, you'll probably see something like new version available, updates now, more like a message right here on the screen. So this is the latest version of JOSM. So they've changed some stuffs. It's now OSM server. I've kind of forgotten the name it used to be, but okay. So basically, when you get to this place, you might not see this new access token. It can be something like authorize now. So when you click on authorize now, it's going to open the same thing for you, like the same dialog box, just like this, where you get to input your OSM username and your OSM password, the one you created earlier. Then you now click on authorize now. So when you're done clicking it, this will be activated, so you can now accept the access token. So when you're done accepting the access token, you can now, this will be generated for you automatically. So ensure you input, accurate information. Ensure you input your, correct OSM password to avoid any issues. Let me just try a random password and see what's going to happen. Yeah. So if your password is very wrong, you're gonna get an error. You understand? So, but if you input a very accurate password, you're gonna see this activated. That's accept access token. I have done it before, so that's why I don't want to go through the process again. So, I don't know what's wrong with this. Oh, it's not closing. Okay. Can you also see my screen? I don't know, it's probably hanging, so I want to reopen my JOSM. Yeah, to task manager, white down is still playing in the background. So yeah, this is where we select the task we want to map. So let me just select a random task. When you get here, actually, before selecting any, you can map a task here. Like it won't be map selected task. I think it should be map a task. So you can just click on it, and it's going to select a random task for you. And since you have connected it to JOSM and the editor here is JOSM is going to open up automatically with task. So another thing can also be for you to pan around the task and probably select a very small one or anyone randomly actually. So when you select one, then you're going to see map selected task. So I want to be sure JOSM is opened. Yeah. So let me see if I can close this. I don't know. Yeah, let me just proceed. Let me see if it's going to open in that the new one I just opened. So I just picked the task, and I'm going to hit map selected task. So after hitting that, okay, cool. So you see, it's opened up my JOSM automatically because I have enabled remote control. So I don't need this again. This is still okay. Thank God. So yeah, this is the task here. We came from task manager to JOSM. By default, task manager is going to change the page and move to a new page. So this new page is where you kind of make some decisions on this task you're mapping in JOSM. You understand? So you can see access the instruction here. Probably you missed the instruction in the previous page. You can still access it here. Then you can check the history of the task. So you can see I logged it for mapping a minute ago. So yeah, we'll come back to this. Okay, for the splitting of task, yeah, you can split the task. This is where the button is. If you feel the task is too big in JOSM, you can just split the task. But before you know if the task is too big or not, you need to add the imagery, which is also in the instruction here. Use Maxa Premium Imagery. So let's just let's do that. So to add an imagery, you come to imagery here. It's on the menu bar. You can see imagery. So when you come here, I have a lot of images here, but if you just you should see something like Maxa Premium Imagery on your own. Maxa Standard Imagery as well. So just hit any of them. So it's going to load. Yeah, interesting. So it's going to load the imagery for you. Wow, this is very interesting. No building has been mapped here before, only roads. So, when looking at this, it might get overwhelming. So you can go back to task manager to split the task. You understand? So let me just hit this now to split the task. So when you click on splitting of task, the task is going to get splitted. So it's going to take you back to the first page, the previous page. And I think this is the task we opened earlier. You can see. So it's now splitted into 4. Then you can now maybe pick one of it again. And now, the same process, it's map selected task. JOSM again is going to open automatically. And as you can see, we have a very smaller site.
Emmanuel,
Yes? Yeah, I'm with you.
sorry, people are still having issues with the JOSM thing. So now that they've activated um, the access token, I think you should also show them how to do that remote control thing so that they can. Because I think how to
Okay.
activate the so that they can also.
Okay. So again, when you're done authorizing, signing in your OSM account, to enable remote control, you come to remote control here. It's down here. So when you hit remote control, it's just checking of box. Just check this box. By default, it will be unchecked. So just check this box. That's what you need to do here. Then even the buildings plugin, you go to plugin, you search for building. Then you check this box as well. Just check the box. That's all. It's only in OSM server when you want to authorize your account that you need to do some, typing of your OSM username and password and accepting the access token. But in this one, like plugin, just search for building plugin and check the box. Then a remote control, hit this and also check this box right here. Then you hit OK. So, well, interestingly for task manager again, I already removed this task here. So I can just scroll down again to reload the editor. So what I'll just do is to hit JOSM, and it's going to reload the task for me again. That's if peradventure I mistakenly close my JOSM, or anything strange just happened. You don't need to fret. You can just go back to the task manager right here on this page and hit JOSM to reload it. So it's going to open JOSM for you again, although you need to manually add the imagery again. And to do that, we go to imagery in the menu bar right here. Then we hit the imagery we are asked to use. That's Maxa Premium. Peradventure, you probably forgotten the imagery you're asked to use. You can just come back here to the instructions tab, and you have it here, Maxa Premium Imagery. There are a lot of imagery providers. For example, they said if it is not clear, we can use Bing. So we have Bing Era Imagery. We can hit that one as well. If you feel maybe the place is cloudy, so you can use Bing in that case. But in this case, the area is not cloudy, so I'll just delete Bing, and I'll proceed with Maxa Premium. If you still feel this is too much for you to map, like overwhelming, just the same process. You come here to split the task. Just hit on splitting of task. So when you hit on split task, it's going to divide the task into 4 again. And this is the task here. You can see. So it's very flexible, right? You can just split the task because it's better to map accurately than mapping a very large task and missing some buildings. So map selected task again, the same process. You can see this is kind of small. So yeah, this might be less overwhelming. So the same thing is going to take us to this page again. You can see the instruction again, the history. You can see the activities. Split task 45 seconds ago. So task manager makes it easy for us to track those who contributed and the activities they carried out. So yeah, now let's go into mapping. I think also you can select another task if probably you don't want to map this task. Maybe after it's loaded in JOSM, you don't really like what you are seeing here. You can just click on select another task. So when you hit this, it's going to take you to the previous page where you can now select a task afresh. So I'll come back to this task status. So this is dependent on the on JOSM, on what to map in JOSM. So that's what you're going to use to fill this information. So I think that's the only thing I haven't talked about here. Task status and comments. So you can split task with this. You can select another task. You can reload your editor. You can check the instructions, history, and we have a timer here counting. So the timer is I think it's 2 hours. So you need to be able to map the task you want to map in 2 hours. Not actually completely though, but after 2 hours, the task is going to be unlocked. It's locked now, meaning nobody else can map it. I think there's the one I'm mapping here, right here. So it's going to be in red to show that this is your own task. While
Emmanuel,
others are going to be in black. Yeah?
Emmanuel, I'm sorry to cut you, but I think that you are too fast. People people are saying that in the comment section that they are new to this, and um, Sandra said that please you are too fast. Can you take it step by step from importing imagery to splitting?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. All right. So when you select the task in task manager, it's going to open up your JOSM up automatically, and this is what you're going to see by default. And from the instructions, we are told to map with, I mean, you can actually map like this. Everywhere is dark. So you need to add an imagery so you can be able to see buildings, before you now start tracing them. So to add imagery, you come up here in the menu bar, you click on imagery. So when you click on imagery, there are a lot of imageries by default that you're going to see. And from the instructions, we were told to map with Maxa Premium. You understand? So Maxa is so generous that they provided their imagery, I think in 2017 or so, to OSM, so you can get to use it to map. So it's Maxa Premium. So when you hit Maxa Premium, the imagery is going to be added, so you can now see what's underneath. You can also turn it off here. You can turn it on. JOSM is just so interesting. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. So we are not mapping yet, actually. We are still in the process. So yeah, that's how you get to this stage of added imagery. You go to imagery, select Maxa Premium. It gets added to the layers tab here. Then you get to see what's in the area you want to map.
Emmanuel,
Yes.
sorry that I'm cutting you short. So there are lots
Yeah.
of
No.
questions in the chat box. So I think you need to go back to Task Manager and show how you picked the task. So I think that maybe you should take it like slow, one step at a time. Like pick the task, let them see the way you pick the task, and then how it will load and all those stuff. So say how did you select? Somebody asked how did you select the task?
Okay, no problem. So I believe we've gotten to this stage. We've logged into tasking manager with our account. We can see our username here and our profile picture if we have one there. So still loading. I don't know why it's taking so much time. Let me just push again. Okay. Okay, let's just be patient with the task manager. I think there are a lot of people mapping at the moment in this project, so probably that's why people contribute to OSM every day, every second. So, and we know it's an open source project, and even aside that, OSM is just super huge. Like it's just evolving daily. I think last week also they hit was it 1 trillion change sets also, like that was it 1 trillion or 10 million? I can't really remember. Like contribution, like can you imagine how that's amazing. So a lot of people are making contributions daily on this platform, using the data for different things, different purposes. So yeah, thankfully it's loaded. So when you get here, sign in your account, then you hit contribute. That means you are ready to contribute to this project. So when you hit contribute, it's going to take you to this page. So the map view is still loading. Okay, cool. So there's the page, the project page, where you get to see the tasks that are available for mapping. The legend is here. So when the task is transparent, it's available for mapping. When it has this color, it's ready for validation, like that. So actually, if you don't want to disturb yourself, zooming and panning around, you can just hit map a task. So when you hit map a task, it's going to open up your JOSM automatically, provided you have done the normal setup in JOSM. That's enabling remote control, signing up your OSM account, and installing the building plugin. Just checking the box of building plugin. So when you hit map a task, let me just hit it now. It's going to pick a task for me randomly by itself, and it's going to open up my JOSM. Actually, you won't see imagery in yours because it's probably fresh, but because I have added this earlier, that's why you can see imagery. So if you don't see imagery in yours, you come to this imagery in the menu bar, you click on imagery. It's right here. So when you hit imagery, the instruction says we should use Maxar Premium. There are a lot of imagery, so the instruction says we should use Maxar Premium if it is clear. So you're gonna hit on Maxar Premium, and when you hit on Maxar Premium, it's going to add it to the layers panel. You understand? So then you get to see the buildings in the area you want to map. But when we have a lot of buildings, it can be overwhelming because probably you don't even have much time to map, and you want to complete the task you just opened. Then after you're done doing the reconnaissance, just trying to check out the site or the task manager selected for you automatically, you can now go back to, maybe you don't want to map this task, it's too huge. You can go back to the task manager to split the task. So when you split a task, it gets splitted into smaller cubes and smaller boxes. So you hit this. So let me just click it now. So when you hit that, the task is going to get splitted. Then it's going to take me to the former page. That's the first page. So you see something like this. It's now small areas. So then you can try again. Click on it and hit map selected task again. This is smaller, so let's see what's in there in task manager in JOSM. So yeah, let me just click on this now. It's going to open up JOSM again automatically. Interesting. So this is quite small, so you should be able to finish this in maybe a few minutes or hours. Depends on the time you have for contributing. So yeah, this is very interesting. And because you have added the imagery in the first, like previously, before you split the task, you don't need to do that again. It will be there by default. The JOSM is gonna return it. So there's some other decisions you can make in Task Manager before you begin mapping. Let's say you don't even want to split the task this time around. Maybe you just don't like the area. Maybe the buildings are too clustered and scary to map. Because at some point you might get to see some clustered buildings, maybe in the village, and they can be very scary to map, not even overwhelming. I mean, they're very small, but they're just super clustered, and you don't even know where to start from. So in that case, you can go back to the task manager to select another task. So when you hit this, it's going to take you back to the previous page, where you can select another task. So you can pan around the map. It's very interactive. You can select another task. So let me just select, let me just choose this one and see, okay, this is probably big. So let me look for one that has been splitted already. Yeah, this has been splitted. So you can now hit this again to, see what's in there. The same process, you hit map selected task. Automatically, JOSM is going to open again, and you're going to see what's in the area as well. So this is interesting. You can probably do, proceed to mapping with this. Maybe you like the area already, so you can proceed to mapping with this. Another thing that can happen again is, let's see, let me just delete this. Delete now. So now I have just imagery, no boundary or border telling me that this is where I need to map. Or probably even your JOSM just mistakenly closed itself, maybe accidentally or something. You shouldn't be okay. Yeah, so you shouldn't fret. You should just go back to the tasking manager to use this feature, which is reload editor. So you just come here, hit on this, and click on JOSM. So the super tasking manager is going to reload my JOSM for me, and bring me back to the previous task I was before I probably accidentally closed tasking manager or even deleted any layer here. You understand? So another cool thing with the tasking manager is that's aside, all these ones, is you can check what's happening in the project you are currently working on. As you can see, like I showed us earlier, when you see this padlock icon, that means this task is being mapped by someone. So you can see people that are mapping already, like wow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like a lot of people are mapping already, and that's interesting. And yours is gonna be different. Yours is gonna be red color, while others is gonna be black. And that's a cool thing. You get to identify the place you're mapping. Maybe you've even forgotten the where the area is in the project. You get to know, okay, this is where I'm mapping. Ekwe, Umukabia. You can just check the association and the surrounding. So another cool thing is that this thing uses time. Yeah, the timer counts. It starts counting the moment you start mapping. So it's 2 hours, and you are expected to at least make some contribution within 2 hours. Even if you couldn't map the old buildings in the area, at least do something. And if after 2 hours, if you did not come here to probably tell them the task status, maybe it is completely mapped or not, or the imagery is bad, and some other comments, this is going to stop, and this is going to be removed automatically, and this task is going to be unlocked, so someone else somewhere can have access to this task now, because you didn't update the status of the task in 2 hours. So you're given 2 hours. If probably you couldn't map it in 2 hours, you can hit no and you submit the task. If you finish it, you hit yes, you submit the task. If the imagery is bad, you hit this, and you can also add some comments. Maybe managers, the imagery is bad. Or if maybe the validator, for example, you can just to Omowonola. If it's going to show some suggestions or more. Yeah, this is our OSM account here. Then you can now proceed. So once you add this comment, she's going to be notified that, okay, someone just added a comment here. This notification tab is going to, and she also receive an email as well. So you can even just add, let's see, and I think someone is Anne or something. Like, so far you have your account on OSM, you can find it here. So that's why you need to connect it to OSM. That's like they work hand in hand. So that's to add comments. If you have some other comments to add, then this is to tell us the task status. Then you hit submit. So when you hit submit, for now it's no, because of course I didn't even do any mapping. I will still show us how to map. So let me just hit no and submit the task. So it's going to take me to the previous page where I can now select a new task, and do some more mapping if I still have the time, if I'm enjoying it. So yeah, let me just select this one. Like, it's just a random decision. It's not like I zoom to a particular location. You can just come anywhere you want to map and click on the task, like the box, then you hit map selected task. So that's basically the idea with JOSM. So now let's move to the tasking manager. That's basically the idea with tasking manager, and now let's move to JOSM to do some mapping. The imagery is pretty, not clear enough, and I mean I can map this imagery. I can map the buildings here, but I like to use a location with more clearer imagery, so you can get to see what I'm mapping later. So yeah, let me just go back here and hit no and submit. And I think this was where I selected it first in the previous task. So let me choose this one again. Yeah, I think it's more clearer here. So I believe we all got the idea with the task manager, because now I want to proceed with showing us how to map with JOSM. Can I get a yes before I proceed, or maybe I should just go back to task manager to explain the whole idea again and some things you can do with it. Are we all on the same page?
Yes, I think we can proceed.
All right. So thank you. So now this is JOSM. JOSM is very interesting. Like, it's a very nice tool. Even aside mapping, you can do some other stuff with it. But for this program, just the mapping. And what are we mapping? Buildings. You can see them. That was why I had to change the task. I think it's more clear here, so we can get to see the building very well. The imagery is more clear here. So yeah, we are having a lot of buildings here, and we need to map them. And basically, when we say we want to map something, meaning we want to represent this natural feature, that we can see on the imagery into some form of, artificial model. So, modeling the reality. And in GIS, ways we do that is, using points, lines, and polygon. When you have a road, the road you can see in real life, just like these roads, we represent them with line, just line right here. Then buildings, just like this building, depending on the project purpose, represent them with polygon. That's the one I just drew. I'll still show us how to do that. Or with points. If it's probably a point of interest, you can use points. You understand? So that's the idea behind mapping. And to do this representation in JOSM, it's very easy. We installed the building plugin earlier. That's following this entire process of coming to plugin and searching for building and checking this tool, this building tools. So we did that earlier. So by default, we should have it activated here on the side panel. So this is the icon for the building plugin. If peradventure you can't find it on the side panel here, if you go to data, you can access the building plugin. If you go to mode, you can activate the plugin. You understand? It's right here. Draw buildings. So if you want to draw a building, you go to mode and you hit this, draw buildings. Then if you look closely, in front of it we have some shortcuts. For example, in this draw buildings we have B, that's letter B, meaning that when we type or we press B on our keyboard. Okay, let me just do that now. Let's see what's going to happen. So I just pressed B now on my keyboard. As you can see, my cursor has changed. This was how it was before, normally. But because I pressed B, the cursor has changed, meaning that this building tools has been activated. So I cannot start drawing building, you know. So if you want to go the manual way, you can still come to mode and check this draw buildings. You can see the cursor has also changed. But I think it's just much better when you use the shortcuts. It's much faster. You just press B now and change my cursor. And if you want to change your cursor to the way it was before, because in this mode you can't even click anything, so look like you want to draw building. So you have to start using maybe Control Z to undo it. Just like we use in Windows, Control Z to undo. It also applies here. Control Y to redo. It also applies here. So I don't want this. This is not accurate. There's no building like this. So let me just remove it. Control Z. And also you can delete as well. But for you to delete, you need to highlight what you want to delete before you now press the delete button on your keyboard. And I'm stuck here. I can't even do anything. I can't even highlight this building, for example. I can't do anything. I can only pan around, and panning around is just by long pressing my right click and moving my mouse to any direction I want to move it to. If you want to zoom out, you can use your mouse scroll wheel to zoom in and out. That's how you. So that's the only thing I can do in this mode. So to go back to the normal mode, that's the initial mode, you can use S. That's the shortcut. S. You can see I'm no more in the building, drawing of building mode. Another way is also to go back to where you activated it, which is this mode, and you uncheck it. Okay, this is what you do. Select mode, yeah. This is the select mode. So when you're done checking it, it won't really leave. You just have to check the mode you want, and that's the select mode. The one I used S for. So when you check select mode, then you're back to the way it was. Of course, you can still pan around. Those are normal things you can do all through the project. Just all through your mapping, just long press to pan around. Use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out. So now you can now delete, and before you delete, you need to highlight. So and to highlight, you just click on on what you want to highlight, be it building, be it road, be it a node, or like a point. You can highlight it. And interestingly, when you highlight anything, the color is going to change. So if I highlight this now, you can see the color has changed to red. So now I can hit delete on my keyboard to remove this unwanted buildings. Or if you don't want to interact with your keyboard, Control Z is still cool. You can still use Control Z to undo.
Emmanuel,
Yes.
I'm sorry, please. I need to just say something. Philip, are you there, please? Okay. We still have people having
Yes,
issues.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, please. If you have questions, Philip, please. We need to assign some people to the breakout room, so that so we can have answer their questions. The
Oh,
issues they
okay.
have. Yeah. So please, if you can take in Subomi Akinlofa to the breakout room. I think she asked a question, and our M, so that we can just help them with their questions while Emmanuel goes on.
Sorry, what are the names again? I didn't hear you.
Subomi Akinlofa
Okay.
and
If
Awa
Okay, if you could just type it on the chat or something, let me know. So I can just assign them and then we can go there.
Oh,
All right.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that was basically how you delete unwanted buildings or errors. Control Z, or you ally them to, then you hit the delete button on your keyboard. And also I showed us how to activate the building tool, which is by the shortcut, either by the shortcut by B, by pressing B on your keyboard. I just did that now, and now I've activated the building tool, or by coming to mode in the menu bar, then you hit drop buildings. So let me just do that. You can see it has changed. And I just showed us how to go back to the default mode. That's by pressing S. That's the select mode. Or you come to mode and you hit select mode here. So now, let me just activate the drawing tool. As I just pressed B now. So now that my B is pressed, I've activated the building tool. So let's do some mapping of buildings. So to map buildings, you basically just zoom to any building you want to map. For example, there are many buildings here, so you can just start from somewhere. There's no particular way to start. You just start from anywhere you feel convenient. Just start from somewhere. So let me just start from this place. So you zoom in a bit so you can get to capture the whole extent of this building. So this is a building, it's rectangular. Those are like attributes of building. They are often rectangular, like sharp edges. And
Emmanuel,
sometimes,
sorry. Yeah, so I still have, like, I can still see some questions in the chat. So Miriam Rafindadi says that I tried to download the building tools, but it shows JOSM does not have to download newer version.
yeah, it's an interactive question, interactive section. So let's help them. There are challenges. So to use the building, to activate it, to have it installed in your JOSM, it's just by checking the box. You can search for building tools. So just check this box. When you check this box, don't hit download. Don't hit download. Just hit OK. You understand? Just hit OK. When you hit OK, JOSM is going to do the downloading by itself, and it's going to get it added to this place. If it's not here, you see it in mode where you can get to activate it, drop buildings, or you use the shortcut B to draw the buildings. So that's how you activate the plugin. I hope you get a step. Or I should go through it again. Okay, so I guess we are cool. So now to draw building, I was using this as an example.
Sorry to cut you short. So there's another question by Zaira. So she says some of the buildings in my JOSM are automatically selected.
Oh yeah, that means they are already mapped. Unfortunately, no building has been mapped here, but um, let me just show you the difference. When a building is mapped, this is the color you're gonna see. So of course you might see this kind of stuff on your task. They are not selected, they are mapped. When they are selected, the color will be red. You can see. So this is different from the one you probably see over there. So actually, in case they are all selected, like so in case you are seeing them in red, you can just hit anywhere on the screen or in the task to unselect them. You understand, Zahira? So should in case they are all in red color, let me just do some. So let's say they are all in red, like they are all highlighted like this. Just hit anywhere on the task to deselect them. You understand? So let me just press Ctrl Z to remove all those random buildings I drew. So that's how you go about that. But normally it's possible that in the task you're mapping, someone has already worked on it. So you'll see some buildings already mapped. So what you just need to do is to look for those that are not mapped and map those ones. And if at all they make some mistakes, maybe the person maps this kind of building like this, this is where the building starts from. And maybe the person mapped it with, or even used exaggerated the shape. Now what you can just do is to help the person adjust it. But before I get there, let me just show us how to map a building. I will still show us how to adjust.
Emmanuel, sorry to cut you short again. So somebody is already asking the same question. So please, if you did not get what Emmanuel said, if you load a task on your JOSM and then you see some yellow shape like buildings with yellow polygon, that means those buildings have been mapped already, like you can see on the screen. And once you see those, that means those buildings have been mapped. So what you need to do when you get to that task is try to look for if there are buildings that have not been mapped, or maybe there are roads that have not been mapped, or there are buildings that were not properly mapped. Maybe their geometry is wrong. So you just adjust and try to just adjust the shape if they are wrong. But if you do not see any building, then you can just leave that task and go to the next task. The reason why you don't see that kind of thing in Emmanuel's, the one we are seeing on the screen right now, is because the task that Emmanuel picked, we do not have any building that has already been mapped there. So that's why we have it like this. So please, if you log into a task or you open a task and you see all those yellow already mapped polygons, that means those buildings have been mapped, and you can either go through that and see if there are unmapped buildings there and try to map them, or you leave that task and go to a new task. So I hope Farida and Zahira, I hope that answers your question. So Emmanuel, you can move.
Yeah, thank you, Omowonola. So yeah, that was the entire idea. OSM is an open platform, so a lot of people contribute to OSM. For example, the buildings you're going to map today, by tomorrow when someone else wants to contribute, he or she is going to see those buildings. So perhaps you don't finish this task, and when the person open this task on his own or our own JOSM, he or she is going to see what you have mapped, and can make the completion to map probably the areas you couldn't map, maybe because of time or something. So it's an open platform. A lot of people contribute. So there are cases where you get to see a lot of buildings already mapped. In fact, there are some that you see everything mapped perfectly. You understand, like no buildings for you to map. So in such scenario, what you just do is to go back to Task Manager and hit yes on the task status. So yeah, let's just go straight to mapping. So we are mapping buildings, and like I said, to activate the building tool, you press B on your keyboard, or you come to mode and you hit drop buildings. So the B is just the shortcut. You can switch, you can go back to select mode by pressing S. That's this, or you come here to, hit select mode. You come to mode. I can go back to B to go back to drawing of buildings. So if you want to draw a building, you zoom in a little bit to see the entire extent of the building. So now I've zoomed in. This is a building I would like to map. And like I explained, mapping is just like representing it in GIS, some geometries as polygon in this case. So the building plugin makes it easier to draw a building with just 2 vertices, meaning that when I pick a vertex, that's when I click a vertex, like a point, and I click another point. Let me do that again. I click a point, click another point. It's going to do the remaining one for me. You see, what I need to do is just to drag it to the place I want the tool to complete for me. If peradventure the building is at the back, I drag it to the back. You see, so it's it makes mapping faster. Then when you're done, like when you have captured the entire extent, then you just hit your mouse, and you can see it's gonna do the whole stuff. So you can just move to the next building and do the same, same process. You pick 2 points and you drag to complete it for you. Can move again to the next building, pick a point, you drag, like as easy as that. And picking a point, it's subjective. You can do it the way you want. You might not want to pick it from the longest side, you may want to pick it from the shortest, maybe this place here. You do the same thing, pick here, and you drag. It's still the same thing. The building to just make it easier for us to, draw building is just picking 2 vertices, as opposed to having to draw building using the normal way, Then you now start assigning. The more that I say about this, I'm just trying to show you how we used to do it in the, you can see that's some time there that I just wasted. So the building tool makes other things easier. I'm probably faster because I don't know how to find my way around it, but it's not really efficient. Like this building I just drew is not perfectly squared, obviously, because I used my hand to draw it. So let me just delete it. So that's why we use the building tool to make things faster. So you go to any building you want to map, you zoom in a bit, you activate the building tool, pick 2 vertices, and drag the rest. It's going to complete it for you. So let me do it for some more buildings. You can map at random. You understand? So, not all buildings are always squared or rectangular. Some used to have some weird shape, like L shape, for example. So there are ways you can go about that as well. Let me just check. Okay, so this is a building here. It's not perfectly rectangular. It has L, like it has some extensions here. So still the same process. You draw the the longest side. So when you're done with that, then you want to extend it. You want to draw this extension. So there is also another feature in JOSM that you can use to do that, and that's the extrusion. So no, should be it should be another mode. So that's the extrude mode. I think this mode is just, it has most of the features, drawing of buildings with the drawing tool, the selection mode, and the extrusion mode. So you can use this tool, this feature. When you click on it, you can see the cursor is going to change again because you're not in the extrusion mode. So you can now click on anything you want to extrude and drag it, basically anyhow you want to do it, from any side you want to adjust, any side you want to add. So you can extrude any building that you have already drawn, even the ones you drew previously. You can still extrude it, you can adjust it. So that you might get to use this tool a lot when you probably made a lot of buildings mapped in your task and maybe they are not mapped correctly. So you can just use the extrusion tool to make the adjustment instead of deleting the entire building. You just use this tool to maybe adjust it a bit or maybe extrude it a bit. So that's just the idea behind the extrusion tool. And now we want to extrude this. You don't want to extrude the whole, just this small portion. And to do that means we need to draw a node or a vertex right here. So that we're just going to extrude that part and not, the whole side. So to draw a node is very easy with this extrusion tool. Just double click on the place you want to draw the node. So let me do that now. You can see I just double clicked. So now I can now extrude this small part without affecting this other side. You understand? So you can see now I have this building well captured, L-shaped. So I can go back to the normal mode. That's pressing S on my keyboard or coming here to press S. I can go back to the building mode again, to be able to draw this building by pressing B or coming here to select building mode. So let me draw this building. This is also another interesting, building. The shape is very interesting. There's not even L in this shape. It's just some random, I don't even know what to call it. So the same process, we are still going to use the extrusion tool. You can draw the major parts of the building. I think that's the major parts. This side right here. Yeah, that's the major part. So again, activate the extrusion tool. The shortcut is X. Or you come here to activate it. So let me just press X. Then if you do this, you're gonna extrude the whole side. But we just want to extrude this side. So you create a node again by double clicking. So now you have a node. So you can now extrude only this side. So let me extrude this a bit. So I've kind of covered this, this side here. So let me extrude it. So now we have another extrusion here. Same process. I double click here to create a node. Then I extrude just this small portion. So now we are, it's almost perfect. So I think we have one at the bottom here again. I can't just drag this again. This is another building. So just the same process. I create a node here by double clicking. Then I drag where I want to drag. So now I've captured this building correctly. So that's basically how you do for any building with some weird shapes like this as well. You draw this. In this case, create a node here. So extrude that portion. You create another node here. So extrude this portion. So now I have the shape. So that's how you draw buildings that are squared or that are irregular. And there are some times where you get to see circular buildings. I don't know, we can't see any circular building here. Buildings with circular roof. So you can also draw those ones easily. This building tool makes it easy as well to draw. So you activate the building mode, by coming here to click on draw buildings. Then this building has, like this building mode also has another mode again. That's to draw circular buildings. So you go to data, you can see set building shape to circle. So when you click on this, you can see the cursor has also changed. So I can't draw building like I was doing before with two nodes. When I pick any two nodes now, it's going to draw a circle for me. So peradventure you have a building with maybe circular roof, just pick two edges of the roof and it's going to complete the rest for you. Just pick two edges, it's going to complete the rest for you. So that's how you activate the circular mode. So to go back to the former mode, you come to data, then you set the building shape to rectangle. They all have shortcuts as well. You know, circular mode is Alt Z, rectangular mode is Alt R. So now I'm in the rectangular mode, so I can now draw rectangular buildings again, you know, with just two nodes. So that's just the entire idea of drawing buildings in JOSM. So peradventure you've drawn a building and maybe the building is overlapping another building. Let me just do this. Yeah, there's some errors here. It's very easy to correct. Just, you know, the selection mode. Come here, selection mode. Select the building, then you just move your mouse, you know, to drag it, to change the position. So long press, you know, left click, you long press on your left click, then you drag it anywhere you want to drag it. Maybe it's not meant to be there. Maybe it's meant to be here, or here, or here. So you drag it anywhere you want to drag it. Then, okay, let me just drag it to this place. Then, you know, this is not actually the shape of this building. So also this building too makes it easier for us to adjust these nodes, like these edges. To adjust to is the same process as dragging. You know, you just highlight the node you want to adjust, then drag it to where you want to adjust it to. So let me just put it there. Then this node, let me drag it here. Let me drag it here. Then this node, and I'm trying to capture this building, the entire shape of this building. So that's it. You can adjust the nodes as well. So, you know, doing that has actually distorted the shape of this building. I'm not sure this, I mean, you can't compare this to this. This has some minor error that you can actually not notice. That's why it's just advisable to always use the building tool. So the shape has been distorted and it's very easy to correct in JOSM again. And to do that, you click on the building you want to, you know, make a perfect rectangle or square. Then you come to tools. Should be tools, right? Yeah. Then we have orthogonalize shape, and the shortcut is Q. Either Q. Basically, all the features here they have shortcuts. So when I click this, I want you to watch the change on the building. The building is gonna change, although it might be slightly. But yeah, let me click this now. You see, it has changed. If you didn't notice the change, thankfully I can do Ctrl Z. So let me do Ctrl Z now. You can see this is the previous shape of the building, and after adjusting the nodes to fit this building. So let me do Ctrl Y. You can see the new shape I got after I use these tools, this orthogonalized shape on the building. So it's now a perfect rectangle. So far I've showed us how to draw building using activating the building tool. It's how to use the extrusion tool to capture buildings that are not perfectly rectangle. Shows how to, you know, adjust building and move building, adjust the node and vertices. To use Q to make it a perfect rectangle after any adjustment, or by coming here to use the orthogonalized shape. And I've also showed us how to draw circular buildings by coming to mode, to data rather, to set the building shape to circle. So the next thing is to show you some form of errors you can encounter when mapping and how to correct them. And one of the errors is this. Let me just do this quickly. So there are cases where you see some buildings being glued together such that if you drag one, it's going to affect the other one. That's more like a topology error. And we don't want that kind of error. Actually, I'm using another plugin in JOSM that is, warning me that such errors happened. You will not see this on your hand. In fact, you don't even know anything is happening. It's until when you drag one that you see that, wow, the one I just dragged is also dragging the second one. And how do you correct that kind of error? You just highlight the one you want to drag, and you come to tools again, and you hit on glue ways. So if I click on that now, you can see that one icon has left. It has disappeared. So if I drag this now, it's not going to affect the other one again. So they can now go their separate ways. So again, this is not a perfect rectangle. So to make something perfect, I thought us we can come to tools to organize the shape. So you see, this is not perfect. So I can probably use this and maybe move this to a new place. Can delete this. Can undo it. It's just flexible. You can do what you want to do. If you put it here, you can see, I think it kind of fits this building very well. What I just need to do is to extrude it so it can capture the whole extent. So, to avoid deleting, and deleting, just look for building that you can use the building for. That's the one you just mapped. So we kind of frown at deleting in OSM because you are more like deleting someone's effort. You can imagine you draw a building today and someone elsewhere is deleting what you just drew today. Like, it doesn't really make sense. So that's why I just prefer to adjust. So even if you make some errors, maybe your building is not well shaped, I won't delete this. What I'll do is just to adjust it for you, highlight it, come to tools, and orthogonalize the shape so it can be a perfect rectangle. So it's not like I'll be, that's like wasting someone's sweat and effort. So we frown at deleting in OSM. We recommend making adjustments. So another error, I think that's basically most of the errors. When ways are glued together, you unglue it. When buildings are overlapping, you drag and adjust it. Circular buildings have shown us how to draw it. Then I think we can now, let's say you're tired of mapping or you're just done mapping. So you need to now contribute to OSM. But what you are doing is locally. It's not on OSM yet. You understand? So to contribute to OSM, that's to push this to OSM. You use this feature. Even mere hovering on it, you can see that it's saying that upload all changes in the active data layer to OSM server. So we want to upload these buildings as our contribution to OSM. So let me click on it now. The one with the upper arrow up. So when I click on it, it's going to show this dialog. It's going to open it. You don't need to adjust this, just leave this as default because this is the one we saw in the task manager earlier, that change set comment that I said is going to use, that can be used to track the changes. So don't adjust this, just leave this as it is. Then yours will probably be like this. Let me do it again. Yeah, you'll probably see this kind of alert or this kind of warning that you did not specify any source for your changes. So when you are pushing to OSM, we always like to know the data source, like more like the imagery you use to do the mapping. So if someone else wants to map, they'll get to know that, okay, you mapped initially with let's say Maxa Premium or Bing, so they can get to use that information to make their decision. Or maybe when they are using the data, they can get to reference the imagery they use in mapping it. So just check this box. This automatically obtained source from currently as. So when I check this now, the one is going to disappear. It's going to detect the imagery you selected initially automatically, and that's Maxa Premium in my case. So yeah, so I can now upload the changes. I mean, I've done some nice mapping, pretty neat work. Even though I did not complete the whole buildings, but there's some form of contribution. So just click on upload changes. Since you're already logged in your account in OSM, the upload is going to be successful. And also, so far you are connected to the internet. So you need to be connected to the internet to upload. So once you are done uploading, you are more like done with JOSM. That's what you just want to use JOSM for, to map and to upload. So now you can go back to Tasking Manager to update the status of the task. So I think we are in time. We still have, we just used 20 minutes there, also, or like 40 minutes. So the task status, is this task completely mapped? No, we did not finish mapping all the buildings, so you hit no. Should in case you finish mapping the buildings over there, just hit yes, but I did not in this case, so I'll hit no. Then some more comments, maybe anything you noticed. Let's say, for example, your task had some more, like a lot of errors, so you can just say, I encountered some poorly mapped buildings, so I did some adjustments. Then you can say maybe it's at the bottom corner, or just say, let's use some geographical stuff, maybe the south west, for example, southwest region of the task. I mean, you can add some more constructive comments here. This is just some random comments, so you can basically add anything. So in that case, I added a few buildings to the task. That's just what I did. So that's what I'm typing there. Yeah. And of course, if you want to maybe alert someone, you can just use at. When you type at, then just type maybe the first few letters of the person username or more, for example. So OSM is going to pop up these ones, so you can select the person's. So that's all. Then you hit submit task. So it's going to take us to the initial page that we were before. So now I can probably, choose a new task to map if you are still interested in mapping. So the same process, you hit this map selected task. JOSM is going to open up, and for example, this new task now, there are some existing buildings here, so it's someone's effort. So I can just pan around to see what the person mapped. This is a pretty neat mapping. Then what I'll just do is to finish it up if I have the time, or make my own contribution. This is just the same things I've explained earlier, just going a little bit faster because of our time. So yeah, do your own contribution. And also when you see uncompleted buildings, like more like foundations, you can map them up as well. This is one right here. You may not really see it clearly, but I can. This is one right here. This one right here. Just basically do the contribution map buildings. Wow, this is a very huge task. So apparently I can see why the person did not finish it in the first place. It's a very big one. Even I myself, I can't finish this. So when I'm done doing my own little mapping, the same process again, I click on upload. This would be filled by default and this by default. So I upload changes. When I'm done here again, I go back to task manager. Task status, no, I did not finish it. I just added a few buildings and submit task. So that's just how you contribute to OSM using, the task manager and JOSM. So if you have any challenges, just ask us in team or on the Slack channel. So thank you all for mapping and enjoy mapping. It's a fun exercise. You can just put some music in background. You can put some snacks on the table and map for fun. I mean, even when you map, you get to explore where where you can't go physically, or where you have not been to before. You get to see how the building patterns are, how the place looks like, how remote it is, how far it is from road. You just get to make some informed decision, basically through mapping. So you're more like traveling through mapping, being to places you haven't been physically via mapping. So it's an interesting exercise.